Hi, fourth grade. Welcome back. Today we're on Module 1, Lesson 16, and we're going to continue with subtraction, but today we're going to be working on two-step word problems. So, we can solve two-step word problems using the standard subtraction algorithm fluently modeled with tape diagrams and then assess the reasonableness with answers using rounding. So just like we did before, we're going to solve using subtraction and we're going to check to see if our answer makes sense when we round the numbers to find out an answer easily. We're going to continue to answer real-world scenarios that we may need to use in life for your job, for anything that you might need in the future, your bank accounts, etc. You're going to know that you have this when you can solve the two-step word problems and round to check your reasonableness. You're going to make sure that you draw tape diagrams and write your answer as statements to make sure that you are being successful with these problems. So we're going to go ahead and get started on problem 1. Our instructions say solve a two-step word problem modeled with a tape diagram, assessing reasonableness of your answer using rounding. So just like I said, what we're going to do today, there are a lot of steps, there's a lot of work, but really we're just checking to make sure we're getting it all done correctly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start off by reading the question. So it says a company has 3 locations with 70,010 employees all together. So make sure that you understand that's what it's asking you or telling you at that point. Their first location has 34,857 employees. Their second location has 17,595 employees. How many employees work in their third location? So I'm going to start off by drawing a tape diagram, and I'm going to have 3 rectangles. So location, and location. So over here, I'm going to say that this is my first location. Oh, actually, I'm going to do it on this side. Okay, so I have my first location, my second location, and my third location. So we know that all together, out of all 3 of these, they have 70,010 employees. That's our total. Okay, so 3 locations, 70,010 employees all together. All together is that keyword that lets us know that that's the total. So that's why it goes outside of the tape diagram. The first location has 34,857 employees. So here's my first location, and it has 34,857 employees. Their second location, so second, has 17,595 employees. 17,595. And it says how many employees work in their third location. So here's what we're trying to find out. These tape diagrams help you understand what you're truly solving, and that's why we're going to use them, and then we'll write our answer as a statement at the end. So what we're going to start off by doing, you could do this 2 ways. You could add up what we know, which is location 1 and location 2, and then subtract it from the total. For this problem, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just continue to subtract location 1 and then location 2. So I have 70,010 employees altogether. I'm going to subtract location 1 first because we have that information. So 34,857 is what I'm going to subtract. So here we go again of my big number on top, do not stop, but my big number is on the floor here. It's a 7, so I'm going to go next door. This 1 turns into a 0, and this 0 turns into a 10. I'm going to go ahead and change my color just so you guys can see it easier. So now I can subtract. 10 minus 7 is 3, and that's in my ones place. Now here I am in my tens place. I have nothing here in my tens place, so I can't take away 5. I'm going to go over to my hundreds. It still is 0. I'm going to go over to my thousands. It still is 0. So I'm going to go to my 10,000s where I can finally cash that in for a 6 and make this a 10. We have to continue that borrowing process like we've done before. So make that 10 into a 9. Make this into a 10. Cash it in for a 9. And finally, we can have a 10 here in my tens place value. So 10 minus 5 I can do. So that is 5. 9 minus 8, my big number is on top, so do not stop, is a 1. My comma's here, so I want to make sure I put it there so I don't forget that that's what place value I'm in. My place value here, I have a 9, and my thousands place value, 9 minus 4 is 5, and 6 minus 3 is 3. Now, I know that that's where a lot of you guys would want to stop and say, okay, that's my answer, but that's not what we're solving for. What we're solving for is we need to know how much is in this third location. So that means we still need to take away the second location from our total. So we need to subtract 17,595, and this will end up giving us our third location because we had our total. We took away building 1. Now we're taking away building 2. That way we can find out what's left for building 3. We're going to continue this process. My big number's on the floor, so I'm going to go next door, turn this 5 into a 4, and this 3 into a 13. 13 minus 5, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Big number's on the floor again, so I'm going to go next door. This 1 turns into a 0, and this turns into a 14. 14 minus 9, and my tens place value becomes a 5. 0 minus 5, I can't do. I can't take 5 away from nothing. So my 5 becomes a 4. My 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. I'm going to put my comma there so I don't forget that I'm in my thousands place value. Again, my big number is on the floor, so I'm going to go next door. That 3 turns into a 2, and that 4 turns into a 14 because I'm getting 10 more. 14 minus 7 is 7, and 2 minus 1 is, it lagged for a second, 1. So with the number that's left, that should be the answer for building number 3. It says how many employees work in their third location. Now, before I write it down and say that's our final answer, I'm going to go ahead and check using rounding that this is close to an answer. So we're going to round each of our numbers to the nearest 10,000. So 70,000 rounded to your nearest 10,000 is 70,000. 34,000 would be close to 30,000. 17,000 will be close to 20,000. So I'm going to go ahead again, start with my total. I'll do this in red over here. So we have 70,000 was really close to our total. It's the next 10,000. I'm going to subtract location 1, which is 30,000. And I can go across 0 minus 0, 0 minus 0, 0 minus 0, 0 minus 0, and then 7 minus 3 is 4. So we're left with 40,000. And that's pretty close to what we got here. If we were to round this number, it would be close to 40,000. So we're on the right track so far. So now we're going to subtract the 20,000 because that number for building 2 is about 20,000. And again, 0 minus zeros are all zeros. And then 4 minus 2 is 2. So we're left with about 20,000. And our answer was 17,558. Again, if we were to round to that place value, it would be close to 20,000. So from what I'm seeing, we're pretty close on our work. We can make sure that the reasonableness of our answer is correct. So that checks out. So now I'm going to go ahead and write our answer as a statement. Our question said, how many employees work in their third location? So we're going to say, well, 17,558 employees work at the third location. And now at this point, we have made sure we solved the two-step word problem, which we did here. We did 2 steps. We modeled it with a tape diagram, which we have shown. We assessed it with the reasonableness with our rounding, and then we wrote our answer as a statement. So we have all of the things that we need for our problems. Taking this, we're going to go into our next problem. So again, it says solve 2-step word problems, model with a tape diagram, and then assess your reasonableness of answer using rounding. Okay, so Owen's goal is to have 1 million people visit his new website within the first 4 months of it being launched. Below is a chart showing the number of visitors each month. It says how many more, ding, 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 our keywords, visitors does he need in month 4 to reach his goal? Okay, so it actually doesn't tell us month 1, 2, and 3 in our word problem, so we really have to come down here, use our visuals, and understand what we're doing. So they kind of had a tape diagram made up for us with month 1, month 2, month 3. We're trying to figure out month 4, but his total overall goal was 1 million people. So I'm going to say we need 1 million. And make sure you check your zeros. So we have our ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, million. So that makes 1 million. So now we need to find out how many visitors does he need in month 4 to be able to reach his 1 million goal. Again, you can solve this in 2 different ways. You could add up month 1, 2, and 3 together and then subtract it from your total. But what I'm going to do is take the total and subtract month 1, month 2, month 3, and then see what we're left with month 4. So I'm going to start with 1 million. And I'm going to go ahead and subtract month 1. So I'm going to subtract 228,211 because that's going to be month 1. And I'm going to change the color to purple. With these, this is our tricky notion of like the zeros we can't take away. So we're going to have to go all the way over to the millions place value and start our process of cashing in that 1 into a 0, make this a 10. We borrow again, so it's going to be a 9 to make this a 10, make it into a 9, 10, 9, 10, 9, 10, 9, and 10. And I don't like that color on there, so I'm going to change it to a blue. Okay, so now I leave this as a 10 because we've cashed them in from each place value. So 10 minus 1, I am left with 9. 9 minus 1 here in my tens place value, I am left with 8. 9 minus 2 in my hundreds place value, I am left with 7. 9 minus 8, I have 1 in the thousands place. 9 minus 2 in the 10,000s place is a 7. And 9 minus 2 again is 7. So we took away month 1, and we're left with 771,789. You can continue to go off of that problem. I'm actually going to exit out of that. I'm going to come over here just so you guys can see it easier. So 771,789. Okay, now we need to subtract month 2. So 301,856. And we're going to go ahead and subtract. My big number is on top, so I won't stop. 9 minus 6 is 3. 8 minus 5 is 3. 7 minus 8 is really tempting, but we have to go next door and get 10 more. So this 1 becomes a 0. This 7 becomes a 17. 17 minus 8 is 9. Put a comma there. Again, we can't take 1 from 0, so I'm going to go over here, make this a 6, and this 0 becomes a 10 because we're borrowing 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 6 minus nothing is 6. And 7 minus 3 is 4. So now I took away month 2. So you have to stop and ask yourself, am I done? Well, no. So what I really would like for you to do is pause the video, see what you are going to do next, and try solving the rest on your own, and then come back to me. Okay, now that you've paused, hopefully what you did was you subtracted month 3. So what we're going to do is subtract 299,542, and that should, whatever we have left, should give us month 4. So 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 4, my big number's on the floor, so I'm going to go next door, make that 8 or 9 into an 8, And here we have 13. 13 minus 4 is 9. 8 minus 5 is 3. Leave a comma. 9 minus 9 is 0. 6 minus 9, my big number is on the floor, so I'm going to go next door. Make that 4 into a 3, this into a 16. 16 minus 9 is 7, and 3 minus 2 is 1. Whew. So it's actually a 1, 2, 3 step problem so far. So hopefully month 4 should equal 170,391. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and check reasonableness with rounding. So I'm going to do it in, let's do it in red. So when we're here, 1 million's already rounded. I'm going to round the rest of these to their nearest 100,000 place value, and then we'll subtract them to make sure we're kind of on board. So right here, this is going to be about equal to, month 1 would be equal to about 200,000. Month 2 would be about rounded to 300,000. And month 3 would be rounded to about 300,000. Okay, so I'm again going to start with my 1 million. And I'm going to subtract month 1, which when rounded to the nearest 100,000 was 200,000. So 0 minus 0 is 0, 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 0 minus 0 is 0. But here I'm going to go next door, make this 0 into, or 1 into a 0, and this 0 into a 10. So 10 minus 2, we have 800,000. Okay. This part of the problem really correlates right here. And when rounded to the nearest 100,000, we would get 800,000. So far we're on the right track, making sure that our subtraction is close and is reasonable. Now I'm going to subtract month 2, which is 300,000 when rounded to the nearest 100. And again, this process is the same. And you get to 8 minus 3 is 500,000. That's this part of the question in the equation that we were at. This number would still be rounded to 500,000, so we're on the right track still. I'm going to rewrite this answer. And now we're going to subtract month 3. So we did month 1, we subtracted month 2. So now we're again going to subtract month 3. And 5 minus 3 is 200,000, which our answer, when rounded to the nearest 100,000, is close to 200,000. So far all of our answers make sense and the reasonableness is there. The last step that we need to do is write our answer as a statement. So how many more visitors does he need in month 4 to reach his goal? Well, Owen needs, and our answer was here, 170,391 visitors to reach his goal. And you also could have said in month 4 to reach his goal. Either way. Okay, so we did all of the problems for step 2, or for problem 2. And now we're going to come to our last problem for today. So we're going to solve this 2-step word problem through our word problem and write it as a statement and as a tape diagram. I'm not going to show the reasonableness on this problem, but always feel free to round to check your answer. So it says there were 12,345 people at a concert on Saturday night. On Sunday night, there were 1,795 fewer people at the concert than on Saturday night. How many people attended the concert on both nights? Okay, we're going to draw a tape diagram to represent. So I'm going to show Saturday and then Sunday. Okay, so Saturday we know for sure had 12,345 people. Okay, but then on Sunday, we had less. So on Sunday, we had 1,795 fewer people than on Saturday. So really, it's 12,345 minus 1,795. So we don't know how many people were there on Sunday. We need to find that complete answer. But our overall question was, how many people attended the concert on both nights? So what our true thing that we're trying to find is, what's our total between the two nights? So our first step is going to be finding how many people were there on Sunday. I'm going to go ahead and do this in purple. So we need to see 12,345 minus 1,795. Because it said there were 1,795 fewer people there on Sunday than there were on Saturday. If I were you, I would pause the video here and solve this on your own. The best way to get good at subtraction is solving it on your own, going through the process of borrowing, and then come back to me and check your work with me. But here we are. I'm going to go ahead and start. So 5 minus 5 is 0. Here, 4 minus 9, my big number is on the floor, so I'm going to go next door. That 3 becomes a 2, and this 4 becomes a 14. 14 minus 9 is 5. Here we have 2 minus 7. Again, my big number is on the floor, so I'm going to go next door. 2 becomes a 1, and here we have, make this into a 12. 12 minus 7 is 5, and the rest, 1 minus 1 would be 0, and 1 minus nothing would be 1. So we have 10,550. That would be what's represented for Sunday. And you could write it here, equals 10,550. But we know this is a two-step word problem. And the question asks, how many people attended the concert on both nights? So now we're going to have to take this problem and we need to add Saturday and Sunday together. So we have 12,345 for Saturday, and I'm going to add Sundays to it. So 10,550 people. Okay, 5 plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 5 is 9. 3 plus 5 is 8. I'm going to put my comma so I don't miss my place value. 2 plus 0 is 2. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So there we go. We should have solved to find for the weekend. So now I'm going to take and write this as a statement that 22,895 people attended the concert for both nights. And here we drew our tape diagram, we solved our problems, and then we wrote our answer as a statement to do all of the things that we need for our word problem today. Now it's your guys' turn to take your exit ticket and make sure you're doing all of the things you need to. So make sure you read the questions carefully, draw out your tape diagrams, write your answers as a statement, and down here when it says assess the reasonableness of your answer, you're going to round it to be able to make sure you are close in your answer and that your answer makes sense. Thanks, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions.